If you look at the bright green, that's the vinyl tape. So that's to get a really crisp line. Um, it won't, it kind of went around the corners. I had to tape the corners to hold them. But when I come to these corners, here I just put a piece across and cut it away with a razor blade. Where on this side, this tape is that 3M Automotive. It's pretty good. So on the top edge, I want that fine line. On the bottom edge, the automotive tape should be more than enough. And I mean, the paint that we have is really high in colorant, and it's really sticky. We're using a different base and reducer and everything. It should stick to this really well. Now you could sand this, but you can see where there was little pits. I don't know if that shows in the camera. It shows a little bit. This had been re-chromed. So the thing is, if we do scuff that and sand it, some of those could get a little moisture and come back to rust. So what I'm going to do is clean it really well. That spot in the middle, we're going to slightly take the shine off of that with a Scotch-Brite. The rest of it, we're going to leave it alone. We're going to put a super thin layer of etch primer. And I'm talking like you're going to be able to see through it. It's just enough to give it an etch. Then we're going to, because we don't want it so thick that the single stage stuff that I'm going to put on here. Anyway, where were we? Sorry, small interruption. But yeah, the stuff we're using is super sticky, so with that little bit of etch primer, you kind of want it to go through and bind. Imagine it being more like a vinyl sticker when the paint dries. I mean, it's inside, right? This is on the trunk lid, so it's not like it's going anywhere. I mean, if you start layering super thick primer and you do this, you'd have to double tape it, and you'd have to kind of try to watch the edge, because you don't want like a big, thick, fat edge, because that's something that will also peel over time. Alright, so I just want to come inside the vinyl, because the vinyl's doing the job. The vinyl masking tape, I should say. And push this down real hard. It'll kind of hold the vinyl in place. The vinyl tape does stick, but it's not amazing on chrome. Mind you, once it sits there for a little bit, it's pretty good. There we go. We'll run a strip of wires. Well, wide stuff I have is too wide. Setting my tape off camera there probably, because I'm just setting it on something clean. Just set that down real gentle, and I'm going to put another piece on. Piece there, because there's going to be a tiny little hole. Might have to put one in the middle yet. Yep, that's okay. Now the stuff on the edge is just curled over. I'm not too worried about overspray getting behind. Again, we're painting like, I'll probably use my regular paint gun, but we're going to set it in such a way that it's pretty much an airbrush. We'll fog the argent, as they call it, argent silver, in multiple thin coats. Because over the chrome, it don't really take much to get the silver effect, right? So. But once you figure out how to tape this all up, you can go on Amazon. They have Mopar Argent specifically for doing this in a spray foam, which I usually have a tape that's the perfect width for this, but not today. So this will, well, you know what, we're just gonna push her down, let it hit the bottom. Perfect, and a little piece right there, we're golden. I guess I should have just pushed it down. Usually with the wider one I can run it across and it just stays there. Mind you, the bottom, if anything gets in, that's got to be retaped, and inside here and both sides that goes black, and in here there's a little trench. We're going to try to get a very small brush and put a red pinstripe in there. I don't know if that's right on the Sport Satellite or whatever, but I'm basically just doing what the owner is telling me to do. So the Mopar guys who go all crazy, well, that's okay. But this ain't my car, so I'll, you know, you do what you're told. I think we're doing it right, but I mean, I don't really know. Honestly, I didn't look into it because it doesn't really matter. Anyway, we'll do another video when we paint.